Hey guys, I'm Carly from All the Pretty Books. I apologize for taking last week off. It was unplanned taking last week off. I did intend to take the week of Christmas off. Last week, I was going to film like a best of, a highlights, a wrap up of 2025 before the new year started and get it posted before 2026. But I had a 3-day migraine that literally kept me in bed all the days that I was off work last week. So nothing got done. Literally, nothing got done. I just sat, laid in bed, and dealt with a migraine. It was terrible. And I have migraine meds. I have prescription migraine meds. I have daily migraine meds that I take as well. It was just a really, really bad one. And I finally got it to go away, thank God, but it was terrible. So, a week late, but anyway, I thought it would be fun to do like a highlights of 2025. So here we are. For those who are new to my channel, I have been collecting Harry Potter books. I started with actually Harry Potter screen used movie props, but in 2009, and then very quickly gravitated toward rare and signed books. And then in 2014 went into translations, which is what you see in the room mostly here. And then my rare and signed books, which I still collect, are in another room. And for those returning, y'all are great. I enjoy you guys. Welcome back. I hope your 2026 has started off so very well. Mine has started off so very weird. But I've heard that that's been the case for like most of the people I know. So I hope that's not the case for you guys. Oh my word. But my 2025, I wrote the video last week before my migraine started and just kind of wrote down some of the highlights. And it was an amazing year. I can't wait to top it this year. I got some rare books last year. I got A Prisoner of Azkaban Scholastic Advanced Reader copy, which I've had in the past. And I got some signed, J.K. Rowling signed Harry Potter books, which I'd owned in the past as well. But this is why they're important, is that a few years ago, and for those who have been watching my channel for a while now, my channel started, maybe 2019, I think. And then I took like a 3-ish year hiatus. And that was because, and I'm not really going to get into it, this isn't the place for that, but the home that I was living at was not super very safe, so I had to leave. And after I left, it just took me a while to really want to get back into doing YouTube, I was still collecting and still doing things. I was still doing the podcast, but there's a vulnerability that comes with doing YouTube that I wasn't sure that I was necessarily ready for, other than like a quick short saying, look at this book, it's really cool. Hey, how are you guys? Here's an update, stuff like that. So I wasn't sure that I was ready to get back into doing that. And it took a while to really want to, and to devote the energy that goes into filming a video, editing the video, getting the thumbnail together. Even though I've kind of streamlined the process, it still takes energy, and I wasn't sure I had any extra energy beyond kind of focusing on healing. And when I left, I had to sell off some of my rarer books to get the money together to leave. And so some of my signed books, my advanced reader copies, I sold so I could do that. So I'm slowly getting them back. And that was a really cool thing for me to get to do. It wasn't the exact copy that I sold, but I have one now in my collection. And a part of me is starting to feel much more whole. And that is really cool. Really cool to get to say. And it's not worth really getting into. I don't really want to talk much more about it than that. But yeah. So that purchased the advanced reader copy of Azkaban from Scholastic, and the 2 signed books, actually the 3 signed books that I purchased. Really neat for me to be able to do. It just felt like, I'm back. I'm back to kind of who I was before things went so far south, and that's neat. So yay. I also bought a lot more books than I thought I did. I knew I'd bought like the 25th anniversary Japanese book, some of the 25th anniversary books that came out. I knew I'd bought some of those, but I didn't realize some of the other books that I bought. And so just kind of going through the list of all of those is really cool. I completed my Czech set 1 through 7, and I love the Czech books. Even though the first edition Czech set, while they have some unique cover art in the first the first edition and then second edition, there's some unique cover art. Then they went into the Mary Grand Prix, starting again with book 1. I still love the books. They're such a fun shape and they're really, really cute. And I was so thrilled to get to do that. So yay for that. I hadn't intended on keeping the Ollie Moss Brazilian box set. I bought it originally to make a video and then sell. But while I was making the video, I fell in love with the box set. And now I have 2 Brazilian box sets, 2 Brazilian Portuguese box sets. So, they're really great though. I just love them. The art is so much fun, even if it's not necessarily unique art, and I've got other books that have that cover art. They're so much fun. And the textures of the books are different than the other textures of the books that have that cover art. I know. I shouldn't have made the video, but they're so great. They are so great. The 20th anniversary Estonian set is really awesome. I'm so glad I finished that set. I bought book 1 like a few years ago, I think 2023, but I could be wrong on that year. But I finally got to finish out that set last year in 2025. And that was really fun. I finally got to put that on my shelves. The 25th anniversary Czech edition came out for book 1. I don't know that I'm going to continue on with that set though. They are going to continue 2 through 7. I don't know that I'm going to buy it, even though it is unique art. I'm on the fence. We'll see. I have so much space. I'm almost out of the space that I have, and I've got to be really mindful of how I use it. So we'll see how it goes. I got the 20th anniversary Danish set and the Danish Beetle the Bard, because while I claim not to collect Beetle the Bard translations, I secretly do. I just can't admit it to myself yet, but I love the Danish box set, the 20th anniversary box set I made a video of, and the Danish Beetle, really awesome. So glad I got those. And some of these books I haven't even made a video on. I have the Apollar Arch, Fantastic Beasts Where to Find Them, Beetle the Bard, as well as Quidditch Through the Ages box set, and I still haven't made a video on that. Like, I've been wanting to make a video on that box set because it is spectacular. And then I make videos on other things, but hopefully next week that'll get done. Fingers crossed. But that box set is spectacular. I got some other fabulous French books while I was in France. Speaking of, I got to go to Paris and Cologne, Germany, and London, England, and meet up with a really good Harry Potter collector friend of mine. And we're really good friends outside of just collecting Harry Potter books now. Like, we chit-chat about so many different things. And that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy this community, is I have met some of my best friends through collecting Harry Potter. Like, I've told this story several different times. I met Peter, who we know as the Potter Collector, before he was known as the Potter Collector. I met Peter back in 2009 when I was just kind of getting going collecting signed books on eBay. I bought a signed book off of him, and we started chit-chatting on eBay, and then it turned into chit-chatting on email, and then we started texting, and then I went to visit him in 2015 in Illinois, and we've just been really good friends pretty much for a long time. We've had so much fun. I really enjoy him as a person, and when it's really fun, like when we're in person, we rarely talk about Harry Potter anything. We talk a lot about food and recipes, and we just have a great time, and it's just such a fun community. And my podcast co-hosts, we talk about so many different things that are not a part of the Harry Potter fandom. And I don't know, I I always, I don't know, I just love this group of people. Like, the Harry Potter community itself is just so much fun because it's made up of so many different people from so many different backgrounds, linguistic backgrounds, culture backgrounds, countries. It's phenomenal. And I encourage, if you're thinking or on the fence about collecting anything Harry Potter, whether it's wands or merch or scarves or whatever, just, really think hard about it. We've got great people that are a part of the fandom, and I promise you'll meet your friends there. It's great. So anyway, enough about that. Anyway, I met up with my friend there, and we met up in London, and then we went over to Paris. She'd not been to Paris, and Paris is my favorite city on the planet. I could go to Paris every single day. And I hadn't been to Paris in a while because, again, things at home just weren't super stable. And it was one of those things, like, again, I felt like I had triumphed. And I love London too. It's my second favorite city, and I hadn't been to Cologne. And we went to Cologne, Germany, specifically to buy the George Kaltsoutis illustrated German books that just came out. And for a plug of the Dialogue Alley podcast, we interviewed George Kaltsoutis. That's our latest episode. I will put the link to listen down in the description box. He is super delightful. I can't say enough wonderful things about him. And we went to Germany specifically to buy his books, and of course, go to Germany. It's Germany. They have great food. They have great bookstores. They have great things to just walk around and enjoy, and that's what we did. And Cologne was so much fun. We went to the Lindt chocolate factory, and it was just like stepping into this neat Willy Wonka experience. Oh my goodness. And it was so good. And it was so relaxing to go. Like, Paris was like the start of the trip, and then Cologne was in the middle, and then London was the end. And it was nice to break up the two big cities with Cologne because it was a whole different energy, and it was just relaxing. And I could honestly spend a lot of time in Cologne just walking around and looking at the old castle walls that are still, like, parts of them are still around, like from medieval times. And I had wonderful schnitzel at this great place called Oma's, and I'll put the link for that down below because they were great. The server was great. She was very knowledgeable about the menu. She answered our questions, and she was very kind. And then we went to London, and I got to go to the Harry Potter studio tour for the first time. It was not my friend's first time. She's actually been, I think she said 16 or 17 times. But importantly, she said every time she had been, lots of different things were very different. So they changed up many different things. So if you've been once and you're close enough to go like multiple times, things change. Menu changes. She said some of the dining hall had changed. Like, when we were there, they had it looked like, and I'll post pictures too, it looked like the Great Hall. She said that wasn't there the last time she'd been there in July. So that's really cool. And they had different themes when we were there, as like the dark arts. They had Death Eaters that would come out and like perform and do spells and like they do in the movies.
Paul Harris, choreographer for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, created the art known as wand combat. Drawing inspiration from fencing and dance, wand combat had a unique physicality that
and I got a selfie with a Death Eater, which was really cool. They were saying Avada Kedavra at that point, which was great. And also they have different things out because it is Warner Brothers Studios, or Leavesden. They have different they have different sets that they can put in and out. So like My friend was saying the last time she was here, they had part of Umbridge's office, I believe she said, had been put out, and that wasn't really there. So like they moved different things in and out so you could see different stuff. And it was so neat just to walk through. And we got there, I think our tour started at, when did our tour start? I can't remember if it was 2 or 10, which I know is 4 hours difference. But it was one of the two. But regardless, we left very much at the end of the day. We took the train in from London, and I'm blanking on the stop that we got off at, but they had a shuttle that picked us up and took us to the studio tour, and it was the night bus. It was so much fun, and I took hundreds of photos. And just to walk in, it was very overwhelming because there was this dragon hanging down. Then you have the chocolate frog dessert bar, which I had planned originally to buy like one of everything, and then I had gotten there and I bought literally nothing before or after because I was too overwhelmed to buy anything. I wanted everything, and so because I wanted everything, I wanted nothing. I did buy, so there's like a little restaurant in the middle of the tour, like before you go into the Privet Drive area of the tour, and where they have like the Hogwarts bridge and all of that. I stopped and got like a butterbeer ice cream because I had to. I love butterbeer ice cream. So I did that, and I still have the little dish that it came in. So I saved that, and what was really neat is they did have like a wash, actually several wash bins, so you could rinse out your dish because they knew that you would want to take these home, which I thought was very nice. And my friend said that used to be very pared down. It didn't used to be as nice. So they've expanded on that too. Like they're slowly getting things much better. I remember we go through the introductions, and then the curtain goes down and all of that, and then we go through, and we're in the Great Hall, right? And they have all of these pumpkins hanging down, and I apologize, this is so out of order, but it was so overwhelming and so neat. And honestly, the studio tour, as I've told everybody, it's worth it just to go to London alone. Like I would go back to London just to go to studio tour again, because it was so well done. It was so fun. They had the pumpkins there, and then they had the costumes of the characters, and they're easily recognizable. And I was there late September, and I love pumpkins. So like I probably squealed. I'm pretty sure my friend laughed. And then we walk a little bit further, and there's all of these sets that we've seen on the movies for years. And I'm not the biggest, like I really prefer the books, but I've seen the movies, right? Like I was introduced to Harry Potter through the first movie before I read the books. And then there was somebody like pulling some of the costumes off of this rack, and they worked there, and they said, here is, I forget her real name. She played Narcissa Malfoy, and they're like, here is this costume from Goblet of Fire. I believe that was the movie that the costume was from. I could be wrong, but they said, here's this costume of Narcissa Malfoy from Goblet of Fire. We just found it earlier today, so we added it to the thing. Like they didn't know that they even had that for 20 plus years, which just was so neat. And then they were showing Karkaroff's costume from, like that big coat that he wore in Goblet of Fire. And the guy was saying that it weighed like 20 pounds, which is just wild. And he was telling about all the different costumes that they had on this rack. And I could have sat there for so long listening. But then there's so many other things to see, and there are common rooms and, classrooms. And it was just magical. They did a wonderful job. Such a wonderful job. So really, really great. I've told everybody who will listen, the studio tour is phenomenal. I hope if you've not been, you consider going. If you've been, I would love to hear your experiences below, because I thoroughly enjoyed mine, and I can't wait to go back. And I promise at some point I will try something from the Frog Bar. I just was too overwhelmed to do that. Then we went to Cursed Child, which I was on the fence about Cursed Child because I really don't like the storyline of the book screenplay thing. And I don't own any copies of it. Translation, English, nothing. But the friend that I was traveling with, she was like, no. It's a good play. We're going to go. And it's London. Like, it was there. We have to go. I was like, fine. And I loved it. I was not prepared to enjoy it as much as I did. You guys, it was great. And it was so fun. The actors told a weird story so well. And I recommend that. And now that Tom Felton is in the one in New York, I've got friends that are getting to go to that. And I'm super jealous, by the by, because he's great anyway. So, and if you've got to see that one, I would love to know as well. But I thoroughly enjoyed getting to see that. I wore my Dialogue Alley, my long sleeve blue shirt. It was great. And yeah, so much fun. I highly recommend that. And I never thought I would recommend The Cursed Child play. The play. While I was in London, even though it's not Harry Potter related, it is just as magical. I tried this amazing chocolate cake from the Italian Bear Company, and it was phenomenal. I went to the Fitzrovia location. They do recommend making reservations, which we did, but we got there. We were the first people or the second people of the day. Like, our reservation was like pretty much right after they opened, so there was nobody there. But having chocolate cake for breakfast, and it was the morning that we went to the Cursed Child, was great. So, if you're in London and you love chocolate, I can't recommend this cake enough. You can clearly tell by my face. I had so much fun. It took a while. I want to say it took me about 40 to 45 minutes to finish off that piece of cake and a lot of water. But I did it. I ate it all. And I don't know that I'll be able to eat chocolate cake here in the States the same, because that cake kind of ruined it for me in the best way possible. And Mallory Chamber of Secrets came out November of last year, which I'm super excited. I would love to see the whole series in that, because it is unique art and it is the Maori language out of New Zealand. I would love to see all 7 books published. I'm not sure they'll do that. And I did make a video on that, and I'll put the video down below. I actually made videos on most of these books, but not all. But if I did, I'll put the video links down below so you can just click on them. I'll also try to put them above as well, but I'm not as good at doing that, so I apologize. I would love to see Mallory, 1 through 7 published, because I really do enjoy the art. It's so fun. Plus, the language is super, super awesome. And one of my favorite little gems that I found this year was the Mina Lima preview of Chamber of Secrets. Now I'm on the hunt to see if there are other previews of the other Mina Lima books. I hope so. And if so, I hope to add them to my collection. Anyway, that was kind of my highlighted 2025 year in review. I'm sorry that it was a lot out of order, but I had so much fun in that year, and I hope you guys did too. I hope your 2025 was great. I hope your 2026 rather is your best year yet, and I hope everything is going just so well for you. I hope you remember how magical you are. And with that, I'm going to say thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting and good night.